This is a stingy family. Not only do they get food and drinks and Wi-Fi, even the insecticide. They're disinfecting the streets by the side of the road. The fumes are filling the air. The daughter wants to close the window. The father stopped her right away. He says it's free disinfection and to kill the bugs, but the whole family got choked up. Then the Wi-Fi they've been using for 3 years suddenly changed its password. Mike was in a hurry, but Dad calmly said to raise it to search for something else, and they found a new network in the toilet. And his sister Mary soon found herself in a toilet that was higher than the hallway. The family lived in a dark basement. They lived on the meager income from their part-time job. But in spite of this, the father was happy. To celebrate the new internet connection, the money he earned that day was used up the same day. At that moment, a drunken man staggered up to the window. He slowly unbuckled his pants. The family became anxious. It hadn't happened for more than a day, but no one ever went up to stop him. All the father did was mumble "don't pee," but this time it worked, because a friend of his son, Michael, came to stop him. He's a senior at Seoul University. He's here to introduce Mike to a job. Don't look at him as a loafer. He's actually pretty good at English. There's a rich family that needs an English tutor. Mike thinks it's a good idea. He asked his sister to use her talent to make PS grams. The two of them quickly forged a certificate from Seoul University's English department. When he saw the certificate, his father couldn't help but marvel at it. If the university had a PS department, she'd be top of the class. With the certificate in hand, Mike went to the rich man's house for an interview. As soon as he entered, he was shocked by the house. It was huge. There was a lawn outside. He could see the blue sky clearly. When he entered, it was as big as ever. Mike couldn't keep his mouth shut. Compared to his own cockroach-infested basement, this was heaven. But the lady of the house was a real pain in the ass. She didn't want to see any of his materials. She wanted to see how well he could teach. Luckily, Mike is an expert in flirting with girls. He pulled up Xiaoli's pulse and said, "If this is a test, your nervousness is the first thing that makes you lose the momentum. The exam room is like a battlefield. You must control your own rhythm." Xiaoli was fooled by a blank stare. The hostess was also impressed by this new way of teaching. He immediately recruited Mike, but just as he was about to leave, a bow and arrow came at them. It turned out the lady had a young son. He was very artistic, but he was a naughty boy. But it was hard to find a suitable teacher. Speaking of which, Mike turned to his hostess and said, "My cousin's daughter's classmate is called Jessica. She's a student in the art department of an American university. She's a very strong professional. She'll be able to help her get into one of the best art colleges in the country." The hostess was so excited. She said she had to know this Jessica. The next day, Mike brought Jessica to the rich man's doorstep. And if it isn't his sister, Mary, just look at the way Mary did it. It's a real class act, isn't it? She refused to be watched in class. The hostess was instantly impressed by the atmosphere. It's true that people who come back from studying abroad are different. Mary relied on the knowledge she learned from the internet. She pointed at her son's paintings and talked nonsense. The hostess was in tears. Not surprisingly, Mary was also hired. Soon after, the man came back. He asked the driver to take Mary home. On the way home, Mary had a brilliant idea and left some of her personal belongings behind.